Hi everyone, my name is Susan Noble and I'm here as part of the Rockaby Literacy team to do a quick video for you on Read Aloud in the context of online learning. Before we talk about Read Aloud in the digital virtual classroom, let's quickly talk about why Read Aloud is important within the context of our Rocky View School's balanced literacy framework. So you'll see Read Aloud is in the top left corner there in that bubble, along with Write Aloud. And that exists there as sort of that modeling I do phase of the optimal learning model, or the gradual increase of student independence model. What I mean by saying that is this is where a lot of that work on your part as a teacher is going to take place to really explicitly, transparently share strategies with your students and talk about why they are helpful to you in your reading life. This is where you're going to offer students sort of a window into your mind to show them how you take what you read and you can connect it to other background knowledge that you have, or experiences that you've had, or other books that you've read, how you make inferences about things that are happening in the book without the author actually saying they're happening. Even sort of taking time to show students some of those decoding strategies. How do you deal with a tricky word or when something doesn't make sense to you? This is a place for you to take time and, again, just very transparently, explicitly model that for students. Something for us to keep in mind too, in terms of reading and modeling and building strategies for students, is the Fontes and Pinnell Systems of Strategic Action Wheel, where they've actually broken down all of the different thinking processes that students are going through as they access different forms of text. So they've got different strategies for thinking within, about, and beyond the text. And you'll see in the video coming up here how I try to highlight certain strategies based on some targets that I'm wanting students to be working towards. So in this Read Aloud, you'll see how the practice of Read Aloud can connect to that Systems of Strategic Action Wheel from Fontes and Pinnell.
My grade 4s and 5s, today we're going to read a book called The Good Egg together. I was excited because I just got this book and I think it speaks to a lot of the characters in our class. A lot of you are good eggs from what I know of you so far. And so I was hoping that we could just do a quick read aloud of this book today. Before we get started, though, we're going to do a sneak peek. And what that means is we're going to take a look at the front and back of the book and see what kind of information we can get before we even crack the book open. What we're going to do, though, is we're going to look for two very specific things, okay? So the first thing, put up your first finger, is you're going to look for information about what you are noticing. Okay, what are you noticing about some of the artwork choices? Even look at the font choices, some of the expressions on the characters' faces. What kinds of things are you noticing? And for the second question you're going to focus on, you're going to think about what might happen just based on the information that you see on the cover. Okay, so again, what are you noticing and what might happen, making a bit of a prediction there. Okay, so I'll give you a couple minutes to look at the front page, front cover, sorry, and the back cover. Again, what are you noticing and what might happen? What are you noticing and what might happen? All right, let's begin. Again, this is The Good Egg, and it's by Jory John and Pete Oswald. Oh, hello. I was just rescuing this cat. Know why? Because I'm a good egg. A very good egg. It's true. I do all kinds of good things, like I'll carry your groceries. I'll water your plants. I'll change your tires. I'll paint your house. If you need any help whatsoever, I'm your egg. This page reminds me that it's important to read the whole page because I'm not so sure that the words match the pictures. He's saying he's a very good egg and he's being very helpful, but I don't think I would find that kind of a job of house painting very helpful. I think that would cause more of a mess than it would have been to begin with. Same with watering the plants. And I think the intent is there and he's trying to be helpful and he believes that he is, but those plants sure have a lot of water and there's water all over the floor. So I'm curious to know just how helpful he really is, or if it's more just a state of mind. I've always been a good egg. It's been this way from the start, even in my earliest days. Back at the store, there were a dozen of us living together under one recycled roof. There was Meg and Peg and Greg and Clegg and Shell and Shelby and Sheldon and Shelby and Egbert and Frank and other Frank. The other 11 eggs weren't on their best behavior. They weren't exactly good. They enjoyed their bedtime. Wait, that doesn't make sense. I'm gonna try again. They ignored their bedtime. Does that sound better? Yeah. They ignored their bedtime. They only ate sugary cereal. They threw tantrums. They cried for no reason. They broke their stuff on purpose. Do you notice how the letters are a little bit different there? I'm reading them with a little bit more what's called emphasis. Can you hear the difference? They broke their stuff on purpose. There you go. Meanwhile, I tried to take charge. I tried to fix their bad behavior. I tried to keep the peace because I was a good egg. A very good egg. Nobody seemed to care though. Every night I was excited. My head felt scrambled. Excited? That doesn't sound like something to be excited about. I'm gonna go back and reread that, see if I can figure out what that's a different word. I don't know where it is. Every night I was eggs. It starts like excited. He looks really tired though. What's a word? Exhausted. Every night I was exhausted. My head felt scrambled. Then, one fateful morning, I noticed some cracks in my shell. They were everywhere. My doctor said it was from all the pressure I was putting on myself, the pressure of making sure that everyone was as good as me. I was cracking up, literally. Here's another one of those words. I was cracking up, literally. Something had to change. I had enough. I told Meg and Peg and Greg and Clegg and Shell and Shelly and Sheldon and Shelby and Egbert and Frank and other Frank that I was leaving. I can't be the only good egg in a bad carton, I said. Blah, 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 they replied. I left that night. So now, based on what we know so far, I'm kind of wondering what's going to happen next. I'm worried about his cracking shell, and I hope that he's able to keep it together enough so that all of his insides don't spill out everywhere. I hope he's able to find a safe place. The only family that we know of his right now are the other 11 eggs, and so I wonder if he has a place to go, if he has a place to stay, where he's going, what his plan is. So many questions, but I do hope that he finds somewhere safe to go. Let's read on to find more. I wandered from town to town. The hours became days. The days became weeks, and I lost track of time. So it all turned out okay. Some of those questions that I had about him having a family and a place to go didn't necessarily become considerations for him in his life. Those are things for me that I would worry about. But I guess for this good egg, they didn't end up being issues at all. So there are 3 things that we can do after we read a book. And the first one we're going to skip over, and that is to go back and reread the whole thing. If we loved it so much, we can always go back and reread it. The one thing we want to avoid when we're done reading is just throwing our book aside and moving on to the next one. Let's take a minute, sit with what we've read, and again, we can reread it. But some of the things we're going to go into some breakout rooms now and do are we're going to talk about what our favorite part of the story was, what was the part that really you were able to connect with, that resonated with you. And then the second question is going to be around, it's not really a question, I guess, it's more of a retelling of the story. So I'm going to put you in rooms with partners, and you're going to take turns sharing what your favorite part of the story was. Okay, again, that part that you connected with the most. And then you're going to go on and take turns retelling the story in your own words. And if a partner forgets a part of the story, that's okay. Let them continue telling their story because it's how they remembered it. And certain parts of stories often will stick out to people based on how they connect with the story. So make sure not to interrupt one another. Let one another do your retelling of the story, and then we'll all come back and do a little share back to talk about some of the things that you noticed through your conversations in your breakout rooms. All right, stand by and off you go.
All right, so that was our read aloud. I hope that you enjoyed the story. Something that I wanted to say was that it's really essential to, again, not try to be perfect when you are trying to film yourself, whether it's live or recorded, doing a read aloud, and have fun, enjoy yourself, enjoy your students, and they will enjoy it equally as much. A couple of strategies that Julie and I have come up with for the digital setting are found here on this page. I won't read them out for you. Please feel free to pause the video if you would like a closer look at them. But we've also got a document that we'll link in the comments that has different strategies and suggestions and links for every component of our balanced literacy framework with respect to reading right now. There is a writing one on its way in the coming weeks, and that will be out soon along with some of our writing videos that are in production. But wanted to share this with you so that you knew it was there and knew where to find it. In the link to, or in the link that you'll find in the chat, there will also be a link within that document to a sheet or a document where there are a whole bunch of videos to watch, resources to draw from, free books online as well that you can use in your own read alouds or to share with your students as read alouds from other people. But with that, I think I'll say thank you for watching today. Please subscribe to the RVS Literacy YouTube channel, like our video, if it was valuable to you. And as always, please feel free to reach out to myself or Julie Vaillancourt for conversations about literacy planning in any context, but especially for you online teachers, this series of videos is for you. And we're more than happy to Zoom with you, meet with you, collaborate with you, be partners with you in some of these, in bringing some of these practices to your classroom. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you soon.